The BFG is directed by Steven Spielberg and stars Mark Rylance as the titular character and Ruby Barnhill as Sophie, an orphan who goes on an adventure with the BFG. Based on the Roald Dahl classic, the plot is quite simple but very sinister. Basically, even though the BFG is a self-proclaimed big friendly giant, he's actually capturing Sophie because she saw him at her window back in London and for fear of being exposed has to keep her captive. In Giant Country, however, not all giants are friendly. The most apparent thing to me was the cinematography by Janusz Kaminski, who is a frequent collaborator of Steven Spielberg, and the film, it looks pretty damn beautiful. That being said, the downfall is the inconsistent and quite frankly unconvincing CGI. None of the CGI seems polished. And to be honest with you, it's such a disappointment to see Steven Spielberg resort to green screen so often in this film. The performance capture of Mark Rylance is admirable, but to be honest with you, I would have preferred makeup effects and camera trickery as opposed to a full CGI character. Speaking of Mark Rylance, his performance is very likeable, as is Ruby Barnhill's performance as Sophie. Spielberg generally has a good track record with getting good performances out of child actors, so this was no real surprise. What did surprise me though is that I came away from the film remembering Jermaine Clement's performance more than anybody else's. The scenes with the other giants provide a lot of funny moments, and generally the film maintains a very light, family-friendly tone. Unfortunately, John Williams' score lacks any sense of emotion for me. It's like they are rejected compositions from previous films, and frankly, it feels like it was just phoned in. Now, I'll be honest, I did feel an overwhelming sense of nostalgia watching this film, but it's only really because I was just remembering the animated film that I grew up watching. And if anything, watching this made me want to watch that more. Now, I do really like the Dream Country sequence, and there's also a really fantastic Spielberg one-er about midway through the film, but other than that, I found this film to be quite disposable. The film does feel quite superficial and manufactured as if it's just come off of a conveyor belt. It doesn't feel like there's any identity or even any heart, which is so disappointing to say for a Spielberg film. This film was very enjoyable and I think younger audiences are really going to appreciate it, but for me it just wasn't anywhere near as good as the animated version I saw all those years back. The BFG gets a C. If you enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. If you've got something to say, leave a comment down below, and if you want to see more, hit subscribe.